What if the worst day of your life was the beginning of your transformation? What if her walking away wasn't rejection, but redirection? You gave her love, attention, presence. You showed up. She drifted. She pulled back slowly, then all at once. Maybe she said she needed space. Maybe she left without a real reason. Or maybe she just stopped choosing you while pretending nothing was wrong. Whatever the excuse, she left. And now you're stuck with the silence, staring at your phone like it holds your worth, replaying conversations, looking for signs, mistakes, something you could fix. That's the trap. You think if you can just understand what you did wrong, you can somehow undo it. Nope. That mindset is exactly what she's counting on, because the man who questions his own value when someone walks away, he's already given his power away. Let me be brutally clear. You can't be replaced. Not because you're perfect, but because your presence was real. You were solid. You stood tall when others flinched. You gave her something stable, something grounded. And she traded it in for the illusion of freedom, for the thrill of not being held accountable, for attention from people who don't know her soul the way you did. And now it's quiet. But this silence, it isn't your enemy, it's your opportunity. This is your moment to become dangerous in your peace, not reactive, not desperate, just calm, just silent, just untouchable. Stoicism isn't about being numb, it's about being in complete control. You still feel everything, but nothing owns you. She doesn't own you. Her absence doesn't define you. Her choices don't shape your value. And her regret? That's her burden to carry, alone. This journey you're about to take, it isn't about her. It's about becoming the man you forgot you were when you made her your world. It's about building discipline in the darkness, finding strength in solitude. It's about moving so silently that one day she checks your name and realizes she lost access, not because you blocked her, not because you were bitter, but because you outgrew the version of yourself that begged to be seen. This channel, this message, this moment, it's a reminder that you are irreplaceable. But she won't realize that while you're chasing. She'll only realize it when you disappear from her world completely. If you're done waiting for a text that won't come, if you're done tying your worth to someone else's attention, if you're ready to rebuild from the ground up, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I release what I cannot control. Number 1. Pain is proof. You cared, not that you lost. That pain you feel, it's heavy. It lingers in your chest, behind your eyes, in the silence of your room at night. And yeah, it's real. But don't get it twisted. That pain doesn't mean you lost. It means you gave a damn. You showed up. You cared deeply. You loved fully. In a world where most people are too afraid to feel anything real, you were bold enough to risk your heart. That's not weakness. That's strength. See, the modern world teaches men to hide it, to pretend we don't feel, to fake indifference. But Stoicism isn't about pretending, it's about mastering. The Stoic man doesn't deny his pain, he faces it head-on. He sits with it, studies it, learns from it. He doesn't drink it away, smoke it away, text it away. He lets it teach him without letting it control him. Pain is the echo of something that mattered. And when you hurt, it's easy to think you were the loser in the story. But here's the truth. The one who walks away from something real isn't the strong one. They're just the one who couldn't handle it. Real love requires presence, commitment, emotional strength. And if she couldn't meet you there, that's on her, not you. But now the pain is yours to process, not escape from. You don't get stronger by avoiding it. You get stronger by going through it and coming out the other side, unchanged at your core, but sharper in your mind. That's the Stoic path. Emotion is part of the human experience, but emotion is a tool, not a master. If you act from pain, you create more pain. You send the text. You beg for answers. You scroll her feed like you'll find closure in a filtered story. Nope. Nothing good ever comes from chasing through emotion. But when you feel the urge to act from hurt and you choose stillness instead, that's when you become dangerous. That's when you rise. Your pain is not your enemy, it's your compass. It's pointing you toward growth, toward discipline, toward becoming the version of yourself who no longer breaks when others abandon him. If you're done letting emotions hijack your power, if you're ready to sit with the pain until it teaches you something, comment below. I master my emotions. They do not master me. Number 2. Her silence isn't peace, it's power play. You think her silence means she's moved on, that she's at peace, that she's out there unbothered while you're in your head, spiraling. Nope. That silence isn't closure, it's a strategy. Whether she knows it consciously or not, it's designed to make you question yourself. It's a psychological test, a game of control, a dark tactic dressed as emotional distance. When a woman goes quiet, she's not always done. She's watching, she's waiting, she wants to see if you'll crack, if you'll fold, if you'll chase. That silence is bait, and most men take it. They reach out. They beg for clarity. They write paragraphs to someone who stopped giving them sentences. That's exactly what she wants. Not because she wants you back, but because she wants to know she still owns space in your head. Let me tell you something. Your response to her silence determines whether you stay stuck or rise. Most guys panic in the quiet. They mistake silence for absence. But the Stoic man, he doesn't flinch. He doesn't need noise to feel secure. He doesn't beg for reassurance. He builds in silence because he knows stillness is strength. Her silence is not a void, it's an arena. And in that arena, the one who stays calm wins. You don't break the silence. You don't chase validation. You own your solitude like a king owns his throne. Because once she sees you're not reacting, not folding, not reaching, now she's the one who feels the discomfort. Now she's the one wondering if she ever really had power over you to begin with. This is where dark psychology meets emotional control. You reverse the frame. You stop playing her game by refusing to be a pawn. You become the mystery, the unknown, and nothing haunts the mind more than the man who walks away without needing to explain himself. Let her wonder. Let her sit in the silence she created. Don't fight for clarity. Create it within yourself. That's where real power lives, not in control of others, but in control of your reaction to them. If you're done responding to games, if you're ready to use silence as a weapon instead of a wound, comment below. My silence is strength, not surrender. Number 3, stop explaining yourself to someone who's already gone. You keep replaying the conversations in your head, thinking of what you should have said, what you could have explained better, as if the right words would have made her stay, as if clarity would have changed her choice. But let's be real, she was already gone long before the goodbye. She stopped listening before you stopped talking. And yet here you are, writing texts you won't send, practicing speeches in your head, still trying to explain yourself to someone who made the decision to walk away. That's not love, that's desperation, and it's time to cut it. Explanation doesn't fix disconnection. If someone values you, they don't need a breakdown of your intentions. They feel it, they see it. But when they start creating distance, when they ghost, when they avoid, when they need time, they're not looking for answers. They're buying time to fade without accountability. And the more you try to justify yourself, the less power you hold. There's a reason silence stings more than any explanation ever could. When you stop explaining, you stop chasing. And when you stop chasing, you stop bleeding. Every time you try to prove your worth to someone who's already left the room, you drain yourself. You devalue yourself. because the message becomes clear. My peace is negotiable if it means keeping you around. Nope. That ends now. You don't beg someone to understand your heart when they already chose to misunderstand it. You don't plead your case like you're on trial for loving deeply. You walk away without a closing statement. Because the real power move isn't proving you were right. It's becoming so solid in who you are that you no longer need their approval. That's stoicism. That's emotional control. That's dark clarity. You stop explaining and let your absence do the talking. She'll notice. She always does. And by the time she realizes what your silence meant, you'll have already built a world where her opinion no longer matters. If you're done trying to convince someone who already made their choice, if you're ready to reclaim your self-worth through quiet strength, comment below. I owe no explanations to those who don't value me. Number 4. She won't respect you until she misses you. You can't convince someone to value you while you're still standing in front of them, handing over your soul. That's not how respect works. You don't earn it by being overly available. You don't gain it by always reaching out first, always showing you care more, always making it easy. In fact, the more visible you are, the more she stops seeing you. The more present you are, the more she starts pulling back. It's brutal, but it's reality. She won't feel your absence if she never gets the chance to miss you. And without missing you, she'll never respect what she had. Because people don't treasure what they think will always be there. They don't appreciate presence until it disappears. That's not a flaw in you. It's a flaw in human nature, in comfort, in taking good men for granted. So what do? You don't keep giving her the best of you while she treats you like a background option. You disappear, not with a dramatic exit, not with one last emotional plea. You just stop showing up. You go dark. You pull all your energy inward. And when she finally looks around and realizes your voice is missing from her life, that's when the shift happens. That's when the power resets. Respect isn't earned through effort. It's earned through distance. It's earned through scarcity. You stop offering yourself for free and you watch how quickly they reevaluate your value. Not because you want her back, but because you want your self-worth back. It's not revenge, it's gravity. You don't chase. You let her come to terms with the silence she created. And if she doesn't, that's your answer. But if she does, she'll come back different. Because now she knows. Now she's seen life without you. And that taste of absence is what teaches the lesson presence never could. Your power isn't in proximity. It's in being able to walk away with dignity and never look back unless it's on your terms. If you're done over-explaining your worth, if you're ready to let your absence speak louder than your words ever could, comment below. She learns my value in my silence, not my presence. Number 5. Detachment attracts. Desperation repels. The moment she felt you needed her, the dynamic shifted, not because she's cruel, not because she planned it, but because desperation has a smell, and nothing kills attraction faster. When you start over-giving, over-texting, over-analyzing every little thing she does, you go from being a grounded man to a man orbiting her mood. That's not attractive. That's unstable. That's weakness disguised as effort. She doesn't want a man who needs her to breathe. She wants a man who's complete with or without her. The more you cling, the more she pulls away. The more you seek validation, the more she loses respect. And deep down, you know this. You've felt it. That shift, that coldness that crept in the moment your confidence started bending to her approval. Desperation is loud. It talks too much. It over-explains. It asks, "What's wrong?" when the answer is already obvious. Detachment, though. Detachment is silent. It doesn't chase. It doesn't beg. It observes. It maintains self-respect regardless of what's happening. That's what draws people in. That's what makes her double take when she realizes she no longer has emotional leverage over you. And don't confuse detachment with not caring. You still care. You just don't collapse. You don't betray yourself to keep someone around. You don't hand over your peace like it's a gift for someone who's unsure about you. You can feel love and still choose distance. You can want her and still walk away like you never needed her. Because when you detach, you regain control, not over her, but over yourself. And once you're in control of yourself, everything changes. You become a man people can't figure out, a man who doesn't flinch when others pull away, a man who knows his value without needing it mirrored back. You stop being the one who reaches first. You stop answering immediately. You stop rearranging your life for someone who wouldn't do the same. And watch, once the desperation is gone, the attraction returns. Not always because they miss you, but because you've become a version of yourself that even you admire. If you're done giving away your power just to feel seen, if you're ready to let your indifference speak volumes, comment below. I attract through strength, not need. Number 6. Emotionally unavailable men. Win the long game. You've been taught that vulnerability is power, that opening up, expressing every emotion, and showing your wounds is the path to deep connection. But here's the catch: do that too soon, too often with the wrong person, and it backfires. Instead of respect, you get pity. Instead of connection, you get control. Because too much emotional exposure too early doesn't breed closeness, it creates leverage, and she'll use it, even if she doesn't mean to. You don't win the long game by bleeding every time she cuts. You win by staying calm, unreadable, composed, not cold, but contained. The man who doesn't need to explain his every emotion is the man she can't figure out. And what she can't figure out, she obsesses over. Not because you're manipulative, but because you've mastered what 99% of men haven't: emotional discipline. Being emotionally unavailable doesn't mean you don't care. It means you don't need to prove you care. You don't rush to fix things she broke. You don't break down every time she pulls away. You keep showing up for yourself. You stay on your path. You keep your emotions close to your chest and your purpose locked in. Because the more grounded you are in your own world, the more she'll want access to it. Women chase the emotionally solid man, not the man who makes her his emotional center. She respects the man who's hard to read, hard to move, hard to shake. The man who can sit in silence and never feel the urge to break it just to ease the tension. That's dark psychology. That's Stoic power. You use restraint like a weapon. You let your calm speak louder than her chaos. The emotionally unavailable man isn't numb. He's selective. He doesn't build walls to hide. He builds standards to protect his peace. And if she wants in, she has to meet those standards, because he no longer gives out his vulnerability like candy. He's seen what happens when you do, and he's not going back. If you're done handing out your heart just to feel something back, if you're ready to become untouchable in your emotional control, comment below. My peace is earned, not given. Number 7, make the gym your therapist and discipline your escape. You want to get over her? Stop trying to do it in your head. That mental loop you're stuck in, the overthinking, the what-ifs, the replaying every detail, it doesn't end with more thinking. It ends with movement, with force, with sweat. The gym becomes your battlefield. The weights become your outlet. Every rep is a reminder that you're still here, still standing, still powerful, even if she doesn't see it. You don't heal by waiting. You heal by working, because heartbreak needs a home, and pain with no direction will burn you from the inside. But pain with a purpose, that turns into power. And when you step into the gym, you're not just lifting steel, you're lifting your standards. You're rebuilding the foundation she tried to shake. The iron doesn't lie to you. It doesn't ghost you. It doesn't send mixed signals. It gives back exactly what you put in, and for once, you're in control, not of her, but of your body, your mind, your process. This isn't about looking good for revenge. This is about discipline becoming your new identity. Every time you want to text her, go hit the weights. Every time you feel like slipping back into that sadness, go add another plate. You let your routine become the structure that holds you up when emotions try to pull you down, and over time, something changes. You don't just look stronger, you feel different, more stable, more present, more dangerous in your calm. Because here's the thing, no one can take away what you build in silence. That physique, that focus, that fire, it belongs to you now, not her, not the version of you that begged, but the version that woke up and said, enough. You turn heartbreak into hunger, you stop running from the pain, and you make it run with you. This is how men rise. Not by waiting to feel better, but by building while they're still bleeding. If you're done sitting in sadness with no exit plan, if you're ready to let discipline become your healing, comment below, I build through pain, I don't pause for it. Number 8, she'll watch you, just not publicly. You think she forgot about you because she's quiet, because she hasn't texted, liked a post, or looked your way. Nope, that's not how it works. When a man pulls away, especially one who was all in, a part of her has to look back. Maybe not out loud, maybe not in public, but quietly, in the dark, when no one's watching. She's watching. She just won't let you see it. She won't follow you again, but she'll search your name. She won't like the post, but she'll watch your story the second it drops. She'll tell her friends she's moved on while secretly checking if you have. Because when a man disappears without begging, without chasing, without sending closure texts, he becomes a question, a mystery, and mystery is magnetic. You see, presence is expected, but your absence, that shakes things up. She doesn't expect silence from you. She expects a reaction. She expects breakdowns, long messages, proof that she still matters. And when none of that comes, she has to wonder, why is he so calm? Did he replace me? Has he elevated without me? That curiosity, it's powerful, because while she's watching, she's also realizing. She's realizing you were never the one who needed her approval. You were the one who gave her consistency, protection, attention, and now you've taken it all back without making a scene. That's Stoic dominance. You didn't block her, you didn't rage, you just vanished from her world and built a better one without her. And what makes it worse for her? You're not posting thirst traps. You're not trying to show off. You're just leveling up in silence. That's what breaks them. Not your anger, but your growth. Not your noise, but your lack of need for validation. So let her watch, let her wonder. But don't look back, because everything you're building now is meant to be seen, but from a distance, and only by those who never took you for granted. If you're done putting on a show for someone who left during your lowest, if you're ready to elevate in silence and let results speak, comment below, my growth is real, even if they only watch in silence. Number 9. Don't wish for her return, make her regret leaving. You keep telling yourself you want her back, that if she just texted, apologized, explained, it would all make sense. But here's the truth you don't want to face. You don't want her back. You want the version of her you made up in your head, the one who would have stayed, the one who would have matched your loyalty. But that version never existed, and it's time to stop grieving someone who never showed up the way you did. Wishing for her return is wasted energy. It keeps you stuck in fantasy while she's living reality, one where she left and didn't look back. That's not someone you wait for. That's someone you outgrow. Because begging for someone's return sends a clear message. My life is on pause without you. And if that's your mindset, she'll never regret leaving. She'll feel justified. She'll feel irreplaceable. That ends now. Regret doesn't come from hearing you miss her. It comes from realizing she's lost access to a man she didn't deserve. A man who glowed up without announcing it, who didn't chase, who didn't crumble, who didn't let heartbreak break him. That's what stings. That's what rewrites the story in her head. Not the emotional text, not the late-night call, but the slow, undeniable realization that you were the high point and she downgraded. So don't sit around hoping for her return. Turn that hope into fuel, into progress, into discipline. Make her absence irrelevant by becoming the kind of man who no longer looks back. Because the greatest revenge isn't replacing her, it's never needing her again. And when she does look back, and trust me, she will, it won't be your pain she sees. It'll be your evolution. It'll be the quiet confidence of a man who turned heartbreak into a blueprint. If you're done holding the door open for someone who walked out, if you're ready to close that chapter and build something better, comment below. I don't want her back. I want my power back. Number 10. The Stoic doesn't win her back. He wins himself. You think this was about getting her to miss you, to come back, to realize what she lost, but that was never the point. This wasn't about her at all. It was about you, about remembering who you were before you made her the center of your world. About rebuilding that man, stronger, sharper, untouchable. The Stoic doesn't chase closure. He doesn't need apologies. He doesn't wait for recognition. He creates his own ending by becoming the kind of man who no longer needs validation from someone who couldn't value him the first time. That's real power. Not revenge, not petty flexes, just total, unshakable self-command. She may come back, she may not. It doesn't matter anymore. Because the man you've become through the silence, through the solitude, through the discipline, that man doesn't base his worth on someone else's return. He knows who he is. He knows what he offers. And if someone walks away, it's no longer his loss, it's theirs. You started this journey thinking it was about her. Now you know it was always about you reclaiming you. Every gym session, every moment you didn't respond, every time you chose peace over panic, distance over desperation, you weren't waiting, you were evolving. And the real flex, you're not the same man anymore, and she'll never get access to this version of you again. You've become something rare, a man who feels but doesn't fold, a man who loves but doesn't chase, a man who controls his emotions, his focus, his destiny. That's Stoic power. And once you taste it, you never go back to begging. This isn't about winning her back. This is about never losing yourself again. If you're done looking backward and finally ready to own who you are, comment below. I choose myself, now and always. This was never about heartbreak. It was about awakening, about turning silence into power, about mastering the emotions that once mastered you. You were never weak for caring. You were only misled into thinking your love had to be proven through pain. But not anymore. You've seen the truth now. You can't be replaced. Not because you're perfect, but because you were real in a world full of performers. You gave loyalty in a time of attention-seeking. You showed up when most people run. That's not something she'll easily forget. But whether she remembers or not, that's no longer your business. You're not who you were. You've detached from the need to be seen, heard, or chosen. And in doing that, you've become something most men never reach. Free. Free from emotional dependency. Free from needing external closure. Free to live on your terms, with your values and your standards. That's the Stoic path. That's what we're building here. And if you've made it this far, then you're not just watching. You're transforming. You're not chasing anymore. You're leading, quietly, powerfully, unapologetically. Welcome to Stoic Blessing, where heartbreak becomes your rebirth and pain becomes your path to power.